Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, things are getting even worse for the virus spreading across China to the point where now people are calling the Department of Health and saying, we don't want people from China to come and visit. So the cruise ship the World Dream is currently in Manila and about to go to Subic Bay in the Philippines. And the Department of Health in the Philippines has been inundated with calls telling them to cancel that cruise. Do not let that cruise ship stop in our port. Currently, there are over 1,000 Chinese tourists on that cruise ship. And people in the Philippines are just saying, no, we don't want to take a chance. Don't bring them to our place. And it's pretty easy to understand why with what's going on right now. I mean, people in the Philippines have said airlines and other cruise ships are canceling stops in China. And here in the Philippines, we're welcoming them into our homes with open arms. And so it's starting to get to the point where you might start to see countries just banning all travel from China, period. Right now, cruise lines and airlines are banning anyone who is anything associated with the Wuhan province in China. If you live there, if you travel there, no matter where you're going, you're not allowed to get on a plane or on a cruise ship. And cruise ships have now begun canceling their cruises wide. So Costa, MSC, Dream, Celebrity, Royal Caribbean, they've all canceled cruises and they go anywhere near China sailing on a chair. Not just change ports, canceled the cruises altogether. And this is having an effect on the cruise line stock as Royal Caribbean does a lot of business in the Chinese market. This could see a significant drop of 5 to 6% in dividends from their shares. The same thing with Costa Cruise Lines, who does a lot of sailings through Asia as well. And not only that, this weekend is the Chinese New Year. And for instance, Thailand, they say could lose over $1.6 billion in tourism this year because of this coronavirus outbreak in the Chinese in China area. So it's becoming very, very scary. And if you're wondering why people are so scared and people are really concerned about it, is when I first reported this story just 5 days ago, we had about 20 deaths and we had like 400 people in the hospital. Well, now there's 106 people who have passed away that we know of so far. 4,000 plus people in hospital, and it's now spread to 12 countries, including the United States and Australia, so not just in the Asian area. You can also maybe perhaps chalk in Canada to that one as well, even though it's not saying so right now. But while I was in Toronto, they did have reports of a quarantine case from Chinese passengers in the Toronto hospital while I was there this weekend. So until they get things under control, people are saying that they should stop letting Chinese passengers travel anywhere. Just stop them leaving. And while lots of places have the scanners up for the heat detection, they say it can take 3 to 4 days before those kind of symptoms begin to show in somebody who's contracted the disease, which means they could show up for their flight or their cruise and look fine. Right now, the Department of Health in all countries that has any dealings with Chinese tourists or business has been inundated with calls saying, why are you not stopping them completely from being able to travel? As there is no cure for this disease that's going around right now and it seems to be spreading quickly, it does kind of make sense to start quarantining the area. Does this mean that all passengers should not be allowed to? That's a huge, I mean, what about Canadian passengers, US passengers, or citizens who live here who are just coming back home from a vacation who happen to be stuck there during that? that can be a huge costly mistake and cost you a ton of money if you end up being quarantined over there for a month. It could take a long, long time and a big, huge expense. So a lot of people are trying to decide what to do. This has caught the world off guard. While China is quarantining people from that city and that province and not letting them out as much as possible, that hasn't slowed down the spread as much as they had hoped. And now it's spreading through the Philippines, it's spreading all over Asia, and how long now? Australia, United States, how long before it hits Britain, etc., etc. So people are very concerned, and a lot of people who have cruise ships or a lot of flights coming into their city, they're not particularly happy right now with the situation and are saying there should be an outright ban. So what do you guys think? Do you think all travel should be banned from the Chinese area until they actually get this virus under control? Or is it almost impossible to do that because of the situation and the amount of business that has to go on? It's just, it's one of those things. It's fear for your safety, fear for business, fear for everything. But cruise lines are reacting now that they're not even going to sail to China with their ships, and they're just canceling those cruises outright. And so you are able to get now your full refund. You are able to get things changed. And now that this has been declared a world problem, you can probably get your hotel and airfare money back too. They have a hard time saying, no, it's safe to go there when there's travel bans in place. So, yeah, perhaps now is not the best time. I'm glad I went to China when I did back in October, because I definitely would have been canceling my trip right now. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think travel bans are a good idea? Do you think it's even possible? I have a hard time thinking it's that feasible to be able to do that, to take a country like China and say no travel anymore. Don't know how that's going to work. Well, I hope you appreciate this update. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.